It's time once again to turn back the clock and take a look at Swindon from a time gone by. More Swindon Through the Years, comparing the images from the past with those of a modern Swindon. And this time we're turning back the clock to the 1990s. It was boom time for Swindon, expansion, conversion and improvements, all captured by the Swindon cable cameras for the weekly news programme This is Swindon. We now look back at some of those images, capturing a town in transition, frozen in time, in more Swindon Through the Years. Delving into the Swindon Cable Archive, we're turning back the clock to 1994. Another look at Swindon through the years. There's no disguising our modern views. We are in Regent Circus, right in the centre of town. The area's been totally transformed, but do you remember what it used to look like? Our time machine is about to take us back to 1993. The college at Regent Circus, at this time still open and playing an important part in the education of Swindon's youngsters. From the 1960s until 2006, thousands of local students attended Swindon's Regent Circus College. But by the new millennium, the building was showing its age. A replacement had been on the cards for a number of years. The old buildings were certainly past their prime. These views, taken from the very same perspective, show the very dramatic changes that have taken place. Once the auditorium at the college, the venue for a popular annual pantomime, now replaced with a new building that in 2017 was home to Morrison's supermarket. Unfortunately, the new development hasn't been overly successful. The same view today shows us that the college was of course demolished after standing empty and derelict for a number of years. In its place, a new development. Watch the chimneys to the far left. They provide us with our focal point as we turn the clock forward over 25 years to a more modern view. The footage shows us that the open-air car park at the front of the college disappeared when the site was redeveloped. Here's another view comparing the past with a more modern scene. The curb line is our reference point for the images then and now. These unloved education facilities were replaced, improved and expanded at the North Star site and with the creation of the new college campus in Queen's Drive. The old college was consigned to history, and despite outline planning permission being granted in 2007, transformation of the site was a drawn-out affair and demolition didn't actually get underway until 2012. Here's the view of where the sign once stood. Unfortunately, in November 2019, the flagship Morrison's food store closed for good, with the loss of over 110 jobs, having been open for just 5 years. The transformation has provided more modern buildings, but it hasn't proved to be the success the developers had hoped for. We stay in West Swindon, and just across the road from the Link Centre is the Shoreridge Leisure Park. The centre for entertainment for those living in this part of the town, Shoreridge opened back in April 1991. These modern images show how it looks today. Swindon's very own Diana Dawes remembered with a statue looking out over the site from the cinema. Laser Quest and the bowling alley just next door. It all looks very familiar, but let's turn back that clock to 1993. These images taken just 2 years after the site had been completed. It reminds us of some of the familiar names of the early businesses that opened in those early days. The Shoreridge Tavern, operated by the Moorland Brewery. And Super Bowl, then the name of the bowling alley. Back then, the cinema was the MGM. And there was the Pizza Hut, Pinkerton's Wine Bar, along with Cairo's nightclub. Here's the same view over a quarter of a century later. For many people, this will bring back fond memories. This was a popular location for a night out, an alternative to popping into town or going up to Old Town. Today, the buildings still remain, but many of those business names have changed across the years, part of a changing and challenging economic world. The Moorland Brewery no longer operates the Shoreridge Tavern. It's now an Indian restaurant. Super Bowl is now the 10-pin bowling alley, and the old cars in the car park have all been replaced. I wonder how many people have passed through those doors across the years, even though today they serve a very different customer. There have been many changes across the site as the fortunes of the leisure park have peaked and troughed across the years. But it still remains a busy and popular site in the western part of Swindon. Again, the year is 1994 and we're looking at a construction site. But I wonder if you can guess just where we are. Well, this site is at Rawton, and in 1994 construction work was underway to build the town's brand new Prospect Hospice. For many years, the work of the Prospect Foundation gathered increasing support, and its aim to care for the terminally ill. The charity became a favourite for local people, gathering support from volunteers and financial support, making the building of a purpose-built hospice possible. In 1994, the work got underway on the site off Moormead Road in Rawton. Our views show contractors hard at work to make that dream a reality. And here's the modern view of the completed building. The appeal to raise the £3 million needed to build the hospice achieved its target in 1995, and later that year Princess Anne officially opened the new Prospect Hospice, which today still thrives, still cares for local people, and still enjoys the support of local people as their favourite charity. The 1994 view shows early construction work and a drainage ditch. The same view today shows the area has matured, with the trees and shrubs surrounding the hospice. But watch that brick-built gully. That's our reference point, and it's still there in the modern view, although taken from a slightly different angle. Here's the view from the main road, with the Moormead Hotel in the background. The modern view shows that the Moormead has disappeared, having been demolished to make way for retirement flats. Building the hospice was certainly exciting news back in 1994, and it had only been made possible with the incredible effort from local people to raise the necessary funds. There were regular and diverse fundraising events held across the town to raise the money needed to build the hospice. And this site is all that's left of the Moormead Hotel, a 2017 view just after demolition. Today, the excellent work started by the Prospect Foundation still continues, and fundraising still continues to support this favourite local charity. We'll have more Swindon Through the Years coming soon, but in the meantime, please do remember, like, comment and share. We'd like to hear your memories of a changing town. And look out, more Swindon Through the Years coming soon.